The harder people try to look and sound authentic, the more we look and sound the same. And somewhere in that process, our creativity dries up. In today's video, we're going to talk about why that happens and what we can do about it. I'm sure you've heard it. Be yourself, find your voice, be authentic. Don't not swear, really swear. Don't overdress, underdress. But what if trying to be authentic is exactly why you're not being authentic? According to my synthesis of popular thought, frankly, you might want to question this also. Authentic is supposed to be vulnerable, but not messy, confident, but not arrogant, unique, and still relatable. And what do? We end up performing authenticity. So much energy goes into standing out that we feel oddly the same. This isn't new, by the way. In the 1800s, in the Victorian age, women wore corsets, which made them unmovable, unbendable. They couldn't even breathe, but they met a standard of performance, what they should look like, that would make them all look exactly the same. We could go on to the 1950s, when housewives followed their husbands' careers, enabled their children's success, kept the house, kept the yard. They did it all looking like they used no effort whatsoever, ever so tidy, ever so clean, performing. We did it again in the 1980s when we started on our self-improvement and self-performance, until that gave way to the 2010s and onwards hustle culture, 5 a.m. club. Oh, the whole thing is exhausting, and the last thing it is creative. Now, in 2020 onwards, we're in the authenticity trend, that all human beings need to follow this way to succeed. Interesting. Because the success in multi-disciplines are people who basically had nothing to do with the trends. In fact, one of my heroes, Albert Einstein, was so not into trends that he didn't even know how to match his socks on his feet. He didn't care. What he cared about was his ideas, the new, fresh thoughts coming his way. Now we're getting into the meat of it. Now we're starting to touch on creativity, which is, by the way, the home of authenticity. My wonderful friends, let me tell you something. You are unique. You don't have to try to be unique. You don't have to try to stand out. Nothing about you begs that you are the same as everyone else, unless you try to package yourself that way in the hopes that people think that you're unique because you're packaged unique. Okay, let me show you what I mean. You see, your entire personal history, all the events that have happened in your life, the people who raised you, your next door neighbors, the teachers you had, the friends you've had, the spouses you've had. Sorry. Every lesson you've learned, every mistake you've made, everyone who's hurt you, every place you've lived, culture you've known, all of these things combine within you to make you a precious snowflake. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I mean that truthfully. You are that unique. Nothing about you is identically the same to anyone else. And there's nothing you can do to prove that except truly be authentic. So how do we do that? I've got 3 steps, as I always do, in my creative loop for you today. First, you need to notice the signal. Notice when you catch yourself going inward. And by that, I mean beginning a self-examination process. How am I coming across? How are other people perceiving me? What are other people thinking about what I'm saying right now? All of that is the spiral inward. Your attention gets looped back into self-management. So I don't want you to judge yourself when it's happening. I just want you to notice. A simple notice that you're doing it can make you aware, and you can instantly turn outward again to the situation or the moment at hand. And that awareness is your first step. Secondly, we want to ask the right question. And a great question in this moment is, what is actually happening in the moment? Not what is happening inside me in the moment. What is actually inherent in this moment? What's alive in this conversation I'm having with this person? These questions themselves change your attitude from performance to perception, which is the open door for creative flow. And number 3, respond to what's present. This is where the real magic happens. You've forgotten what you look like. You're not thinking about how you sound or what they're thinking about what you're saying. You are engrossed in the moment and focused on what you can contribute. Creativity is about contribution. Creativity is a flow. It's not stagnant. It's not pooling up inside of us for us. The creative flow is always for regeneration, for propagation, for growth, for expansion. You get so wrapped up in the moment that you literally forget about yourself. You forget about how you're perceived. There's a flow that comes, wisdom and insight, because you're tapped into something bigger than yourself. And when you're in the flow of creativity, you are alive. Now, here is the best part about authenticity. Because when you get in that flow, people see you. They see the real you, not the constructed version of yourself. I realize that this taps into a deep inner fear that people have that if they're known, they won't be appreciated. When your focus becomes what you have to contribute, rather than how you're going to protect self, people resonate. People long for your presence. People know you. Maybe you're grumpy, but you're a contributor. Maybe you're ugly, but you're a contributor. Maybe you're gorgeous and you're empty. Maybe you're gorgeous and you're a contributor. It has nothing to do with how you think you're being perceived. It has to do with the value that we're bringing to others, bringing to the world, bringing to the systems in the world through our creative flow. You're actually living the words of Brené Brown when she says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. I'm Harmony Thiessen with Creativity Loops, and I help people recognize and redesign the conditions that cultivate their creative life. See you next time.